So now that we showed off some of the default types that work in the inspector, let's talk a little bit about custom classes. We'll open up our Hello World and create a public class right above Hello World. Let's call this class Custom Data Structure. Inside of this class, we're going to add two public fields. The first is going to be typed to a game object called target, and the second will be a vector3 called position. Now let's go ahead and add a field for our custom data structure to Hello World. Below where we set our game objects, let's create a public custom data structure, custom target. Let's save our code and go back into Unity. By default, this custom class isn't going to be exposed to the inspector, but there's a simple way to fix this. Right now, our inspector doesn't know how to serialize the field. Let's go back in and add an attribute to our custom data structure class. Here, we're going to use system.serializable. We'll save this and go back into Unity. Now you'll see that our custom target will appear. If we fold it down, you'll see that all the public fields on our custom class are now being exposed as if they were part of our Hello World script. This is incredibly powerful. It allows you to create models and other data structures that are not tied to mono behaviors in order to set properties on a class. Let's go back and convert this into an array and take a look at what happens. Save our code and go back in Unity. Now, custom target is just like a normal array. If we change the size, you'll see that we have element 1 and element 2, and each of these elements now have the same publicly exposed fields in the inspector, our target and our position. Before we move on, I'll show you one other neat trick that'll add a little bit more customization to the way that we see each of the elements in the inspector. Back in our Hello World code, let's scroll back up to the data structure and let's add another field called public string name and go back into Unity. As you can see, we now have a name input field on each of our elements. If we change this to first item, you'll see that the word element 0 is now being replaced with the name. Unity automatically takes any public field called name and tries to use it as the label for that object. While it isn't critical that you add a name field to all of your custom classes, it does help with the way that they look inside of the inspector.